Hello students, this is a quick video on counting the number of sig figs. I'll be teaching you an easy trick for doing this. So for finding out the number of sig figs in a given value, you just need to remember two simple rules based on the decimals in the number. Just two rules. Let's see what that is using examples. We are going to see rule number 1. Now the value has a decimal. That's rule number 1. If the value has a decimal point, count from the first non-zero number from left to right. That is, you would not count any zeros that you have in the beginning of the number. Now let's find the number of sig figs in 3.66 grams. So I don't have any zero here, but there is a decimal point, of course. So I start counting from left to right. So how many sig figs do I have? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 sig figs. Now what about the next number? 0.8500 meters. Should I start from here? No. What does the rule say? Count from the first non-zero number from left to right. So I don't count this 0. I start counting from 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sig figs. Let's check out the number of sig figs in the next example, which is 200.78 liters. The value has a decimal point. So I have to start from the left. I start with this 2. So I count this 2. I do have to count these two zeros because it is in between two numbers and not in the beginning of a number or a value. And then I go ahead with counting the 7 and the 8. So the total number of sig figs here is 5. Now the last example that I have for you is 200 with the decimal point kilometer. This is a little tricky. The number ends with a decimal point. So I go by rule number 1. I start counting with the first non-zero number, which is 2. Go ahead and count the two zeros. So the number of sig figs I have here is 3. Now time to check out rule number 2. The second rule is for values that do not have a decimal point. What do I do here? I start counting from the first non-zero number from right to left. So it's the other way around. The first example I have here is 300 grams. So the number ends with zeros, but I obviously do not count these zeros. Why? Because I have to start from the first non-zero number from right to left. So the only number that I would consider here is 3, or the number of sig figs I have is 1. Coming to the second example now, 7504 meters. Does this have a decimal point? No. So I start counting from my right, I go up to the left. So I start counting from 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sig figs. Let's check out two more examples. Again, this is for the values that do not have a decimal, or rule number 2. So I need to count from the first non-zero number from right to left, 31,600 liters. So do I count these two zeros? No, I do not count the last two zeros. Why? Because the number does not have a decimal point. So I start counting from right to left. So I start counting from 6. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 sig figs. What about the next example? 15,020 meters. Now the number does not have a decimal point, so I need not count the 0. I start from the first non-zero number from right to left. So I start counting with the 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you still have to count the 0 that is in the middle of two numbers. But the ending number I do not count because this number does not have a decimal point. So I start counting from right to left, and I leave the 0 that is in the rightmost, the end of the number. So how many sig figs do I have here? I have 4 sig figs. So here is a summary for the rules to SIGFIX. Check if the value has a decimal. If the value has a decimal, like yes, then you have to start counting from the first non-zero number from left to right. If the number does not have a decimal, that is, does the value have a decimal? And if your answer is no, then you have to count from the first non-zero number from right to left. So you go from right to left like this. That's it. Save this video and check it out whenever you need it. Thank you, have a good day, and see you soon.